In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 4 simple step process that you can apply to your business no matter where you are at in your journey. If you're at the beginning, this is going to be really, really helpful for you to get clarity on exactly what business is, right? Because business can be this scary thing. And I talk about this all the time because I thought business was such a scary, bloody thing when I first started this journey about 6 years ago now. And I was just like, I can't do it because it's for big boys, like all these men who are like in the industry and blah, blah, blah. And then you see all these boss women and it's just like, even them, they've got this like, this seriousness about them. And I was like, I'm not serious though. I'm like Janie. I'm just fun and I'm just flowy and I'm just this and that. And so that might be you too. And I'm just spiritual and all of these things, right, that come up when you're like, oh, I'm making money online. Oh my God, I'm making money in person. Oh my God, like all of this stuff that comes up, these beliefs, right, the limiting beliefs with our identity. And again, when I associate business, and I know that one of my videos, a lot of people resonated with this of business is so simple. Like, and I'm going to break it down in just 4 things that you need and you have a business. If you do these 4 things correctly, you have a business, especially if you're making money from it, right? Because obviously you don't have a business if you're not making money from it, then you have a hobby. But you can turn that hobby into a business if you do this 4-step process. That's all business is. It's nothing complex. It doesn't have to be complex. All these people are like talking about all this stuff, but it's like any skill. When you first start to learn a car, it looks really hard because you're like, oh my God, I have to learn the gear. Then I have to do my feet and I have to have coordination. Then I have to be using my eyes to look around everywhere. And it's like all of these things and your brain feels like, right? But actually, now that you've been driving for a couple of years, is it that hard? Is it though? Or are you just like, oh my God, this is like the easiest, most natural thing ever? Business is the same thing. Okay, so I just want to break down how simple this can be for you and how you can take it off this pedestal of being something scary and allow yourself to feel ease through the process. Allow yourself to feel joy and like, this gets to be fun kind of thing. Okay, so first of all, business is a skill. If you look at business being a skill, then just like driving, you really want to drive that car. So you're going to do what it takes in your power and you're going to hire the right teachers. You're going to invest in all of those lessons and then you're going to go and take the test and you're going to pass. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you're doing over there. You're investing in yourself because you have to learn a new skill. So when it comes to business, do not be afraid, first of all, of learning and investing in yourself. And I haven't started going into the 4 things, guys. I'm going to go into that in a second, but I'm laying the foundations of the necessary ingredients in learning any new skill. And so don't shy away from that same thing when it comes to your business journey. Okay. The most successful entrepreneurs have mentorship for this reason. They know that every next level requires a new skill set or a new environment or a new mindset. And they are constantly and consistently pouring into themselves. Okay. This is one of those reasons why. Just like if you started to drive and then you wanted to go bump up a level and you're like, actually, I want to teach other people to drive. Okay, but you've just learned to drive normally. You now need to invest in yourself and buy another fucking course and get another teacher to now teach you how to teach other people. So it's the same thing. So when it comes to business, for some reason, people are like, oh no, why are they charging this, and la, la, la. And like all of these mindsets, this is where you just, that's just nonsense that you've bought into for some reason. But everything like anything else is a skill. And if you want to develop a skill, you go to college, you go to university, you go to all the stuff in all the education system. It's the same thing with the business and the online industry, right? You're picking your teachers based off of what your goal you're trying to set for yourself. And there are get rich quick schemes, all of this stuff that's just marketing to you in a way that makes you want to buy. And once you buy, sometimes it's not the right choice. Now, I've done a whole other video on this on intuition versus logic, how to make decisions from your intuition and how to know they're from your ego. I'll link it up here somewhere. You can go and check it out because that will be very helpful for you when it comes to these decisions, right? But business overall, as soon as you know it's a skill and you have 4 levels that you want to be completing and then recompleting and recompleting, depending on what levels you're trying to get to, it becomes so much more joyful, okay? Pardon me. Number 1, I teach business as a skill based off of the online industry. So for me, when I'm teaching you spiritual business, spiritual entrepreneurship, it's always from a space of the online because I believe in the age of Aquarius. It's all about information technology and being online, not being the traditional brick and mortar. I do help some clients who come in with the brick and mortar and I help them transition to coming online. That's my speciality, right? But again, you want to, number 1, market yourself because you are your business in my realms, right? When I teach intuitive creators, it's like you carry these unique gifts. I'm teaching spiritual leaders, spiritual entrepreneurs who have magical gifts inside of them and this creativity that they're ready to birth. and they need to make money out of it and they just don't know how. So the first thing around business is marketing yourself. Now, market is just a business term that is used for expressing yourself. It's literally just packaging yourself up in the best way possible and putting it out there. So when you go to date someone, for example, you put on your best dress. You're like, ooh, what are you wearing on your date? You spray on that nice spray. In your day-to-day life, you might not do that. You might do. It depends on your personality. Some of you just go the extra, right? Some of you might not. Some of you might slouch down and be like, no, I'm not going to make effort, whatever the thing. Most people, though, when you're trying to impress somebody, you do dress nice. You put on a mask, if you like, okay? Marketing can be somewhat like that, but you don't always have to put on a mask. You just have to present your best self. And your best self, when I say it's your highest self, which means your soul self, embodied wisdom self, highest quality of your gifts, okay? So you're marketing yourself, which means you're putting out the best side of you in the online spaces. So this is your content, this is your emails, this is all the things where you are talking and you are sharing yourself. You're sharing your embodied experiences, you're teaching, you're providing value of some sort, you're entertaining, whatever the thing, and you're dressing yourself up in that way. So for me, I don't dress up. Like I say, I just come in my pajamas sometimes. Sometimes I'll come in like my normal t-shirt, whatever the thing. I don't really focus on that. But what I look at as when I'm marketing myself, my mind, because I have a lot of embodied wisdom that is stored here, and I just unlock that and put it up here like a treasure chest. So for me, that's me marketing myself. And the second thing that I do along with my mind is my energy. I am always looking after my energy so that it's always serving at the highest level, and I'm always speaking from my authentic truth, which is my soul truth, right? My higher self. So in that sense, my business runs off of me doing constantly talking about the highest fucking mindset shit that I've learned so that it can transfer to you guys watching it. And then you start to embody that or learn from it or whatever the thing. And I'm also increasing the way that I show up with my energy, because energy is felt. And for me, it's really important. People know and recognize, oh my God, her energy, right? And that's the work that I constantly do to market myself in that way. The second thing that you want to be doing after you've marketed yourself, okay, with your energy and picked out like a couple of things that you really want to focus on presenting to the world, and within market yourself, you will be knowing what your mission is, what your vision is. I have a load of other videos in my playlist. Go and check it out if you don't know how to do this. And my free spaces below might help you out as well there with the mindset. And if you don't know your mission, if you don't know your vision, it can be quite hazy and you might find yourself a bit lost, a bit confused for a while on how to market yourself and how to position yourself because of this. Don't allow that to stop you. So when I first started 5 years ago, I didn't actually know my mission, my vision of helping people being paid for being them. I just started off with astrology, and then I moved to tarot. And then in between there, somewhere along the way, I started doing business stuff because I started making money off of it in person and online. And I was like, oh, wow, I have another gift here. And I know that I've built up my business that way. And I know what needs to be done on my evolution of this journey. And I can package that up and sell that. And that's what I want to do, because a lot of the people who come to my spaces, they are so good with their gifts. They're so gifted, but they just don't have the business skills. And I thought, there's so many people in the spiritual spaces who don't teach this. They teach the spiritual side too much, but they don't teach the business side in the practical way, step by step. And that's what I do best. So I had to do it. It's almost like a disservice to my community if I don't do it. So I was like, shut up, Janie. This is what you're doing. Go for it, right? So don't stress yourself out if you don't have the mission and vision. There's an ikigai process. There's so many things that can happen as you just experiment, but just start creating, just start to put yourself out there. No matter what that looks like in the beginning, the rest will follow. Okay. Sometimes you start businesses by accident, like I did. Mine was never an intentional, oh, I'm going to share my astrology to build a business. No, it was, I'm going to share astrology because I think I can teach astrology better than most of the posts that I was seeing at that time. And I ended up doing it and it fulfilled me. Okay. Market yourself, number one. Second part of business, once you've started marketing yourself, you continue with that. This is something that stays consistent. And obviously you're allowed to pivot your topics like I've just shared with you. I did astrology, then I moved to tarot, now I've moved to business. You can pivot along the way. And there are processes and tweaks and mindset stuff and all these shifts that come along the process and the pivot and the evolution journey. But as long as you are staying consistent in posting online, you are constantly visible. That is your marketing machine. That is how people get to hear about you. You don't see Samsung or Apple or any of these big companies, McDonald's, get really big and then stop marketing. You still see their advertisements everywhere. Why? because marketing is the very key that keeps your business afloat. The day that you stop marketing yourself is the day your business will start to drop and go downhill. You cannot afford, especially if you're a newbie and you're a startup and you haven't even reached the heights of like McDonald's and all these big companies, you will need to market yourself. So this is a harsh truth that you need to come to terms with if you are serious about business. Marketing is the long-term thing. You cannot afford to be non-visible. Now, I do teach you how to batch content in a way where even though you physically, energetically wise, you're not actually filming every day, you have videos that are going out for you, or you chop up videos that can go out. So in terms of the world still seeing you, they are still seeing you, still marketing, but you physically are not present in those energies, right? So that is something that you can do as a spiritual entrepreneur 100%. And you save your energy, you don't burn out doing that. It's very smart and it's what I recommend doing, especially when you've got like big events or planned days or months where you're just like, I just need to take time off. I just want to be in my creative zone. You can batch create your content and then have it scheduled, okay? And again, this is all the stuff that I teach inside of Introductory Creator. So once you marketed yourself, the second thing that you want to be moving on to, and this is part of the business, is selling your service or your product. Now, again, when you start to market yourself, you don't always have to talk about your offers, but eventually you'll have to build and figure out what is the main thing or things that you are serving your audience with that they need help with, that is going to transform or help them or provide even more value than what you're already showing them and sharing with them online. So for me, for example, in the beginning, it was like astrology stuff. So I'd do astrology courses so people could learn even deeper and assess themselves on a deeper level. And I'd also offer one-to-one astrology readings. Then I moved to psychic stuff and I did tarot stuff in the same way. Again, people could book in one-to-one readings and I just channel collective messages, right? Now with business, again, I teach generic, like all the business stuff that I've learned, every single thing that is inside of Intuitive Creator. But if people want my one-to-one coaching every single month on their business and my eyes on their stuff, then they come and join my membership. If they want the mindset that I have and every single day I pour into their minds with the stuff that they need and the tweaks that they need, they listen to that every single day. They become that successful version of themselves. That's all poured into that one container, right? They have the course, they have the mindset, and they have my coaching. So again, this is how you do the difference of like you market yourself in terms of you share like a lighthouse, all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the amazingness that you are, and you just share that freely. And then the second part of the business part is like you start to sell your service, your product, and your offer. This is where all of those skills come in of learning to create an offer that sells, learning to know when to tweak it, learning the capacity for it, your business model, all of that will come under this part, right? Selling your service or product. And this is where you have to learn those skills if you don't already. This is where, when I gave you those examples before of like, you have to pick out your teachers and the aligned ones that will resonate with the way that you want to set up your structure. Again, you're not going to know who the right one is unless you're trusting your intuition. So again, feel into your intuition, where is it guiding you, and then throw yourself into those spaces. Once you've market yourself is step one of business. Second thing is selling your product or service, right? The third thing that you want to be then doing is growing yourself. So you will reach a point in your business where you feel like you've done the same thing over and over again and you're a bit bored or you're stagnating or everything just feels the same. And when that starts to happen, you can either maintain that same level, but then people inside of your spaces might also start to stagnate, and then you're just like, okay, now I need to do something different. And this is the evolution of spiritual entrepreneurship, right? It's the essence of your journey. This is the point where you want to start growing yourself in terms of, okay, what's that next level? Or putting yourself into like discomfort again, where you're just like, you need to do something new, learning something new, learning a new skill that maybe you can apply and then teach more of in those same containers. Again, you are going to assess here, where do you need to grow? Where's going to make you more uncomfortable so that it stretches you, so that you can offer some new fresh perspectives or guidance or wisdom or coaching or whatever the thing in your business. So growing yourself is very, very, very important. Most businesses who go downhill and you see them like dysfunction, not operating, going back to 9-to-5 fucking jobs, is because they stop growing. So again, it's really, really important. Obviously, you need all the skills to market yourself. This is content creation, learning to be confident online, learning to be magnetic, learning the law of attraction, law of vibration, intuition versus logic, all of that stuff. Then learning the skill of selling your product and your service, deciding what that service is, what that product is going to be, how to package it, how to design it, how to structure it, what processes you're going to be sharing in there, how you're going to deliver the program, all of that stuff. All those are skills, right? Then you're going to go into the growth space of like, okay, I need to grow myself now. Everything's running smoothly in the first two. You know your content structure, strategy, all of that stuff's going, flowing really well. You're selling, you're on the thing. You have loads of people in your community spaces. They're all happy. You're delivering. They're getting transformational results, all of that good stuff. Then you're feeling a bit bored because you're just doing the same thing and you feel like you've built yourself a job. This is where you start to grow again. Once you've decided, okay, I've grown into this space. This is where I now want to go and take myself. That's when you move into the fourth part of business, which is then scaling your product or your service. And this is where, again, you go into evolution of your current product and service that has been selling amazingly. Are you going to keep that as is and just create something brand new from where you've grown? Or are you just going to scale that on another level? So what this could look like practically. Maybe you've sold a particular offer for like a year and it's doing really well. You've got like 200 people, 2,000 people, whatever the number in there. And you can continue to do that because it's evergreen. It doesn't need you constantly in there, right? So Intuitive Creator is one of those spaces for me, which until it reaches like a certain limit where I'm like, okay, the group coaching spaces are taking up too much of my time. I'm going to need to scale. Until that reaches that point, I'm good. So when you have to scale, that's where you decide, okay, either you're going to raise the price of the current product or offer that you're offering, because then it allows less people to come in and you can still pour into those people at the same level, or you take away from that and you recreate something else completely new at a higher ticket and you start pouring in all of your focus onto that. So the other things are still running in the background. Now, again, scaling again can look like getting ads. If you've never done ads and you've just done organic and you've got enough cash now invested to be able to invest in ads and you want to go down that route, that is something that can grow and scale you as well. So there are so many different things that you can do in the scale. But again, most people don't reach there because they're not giving themselves enough time, consistency, discipline, and dedication and effort in the first two phases. So that is, in a nutshell, business. And then you just keep repeating the same stuff. As soon as you've decided I'm going to scale, you have to go back to, again, marketing yourself in that new version of yourself, that new identity, that new level. And then you're going to start selling that product or the service or the new level of it. And then again, you're going to grow yourself when that plateaus. And then again, you're going to go back to scaling even more. That's how you grow and expand. That is business, and the best businesses in the world who do this, right? The ones who don't stick to the growing and the scaling, at the end, you just have like that flatline business where you're constantly feeling like that churning, like you're just doing a job. And that's okay for some people. Some people are just, that's what they want from business, right? Or they can sell off their company and it's like, boom, I've made enough cash for me to just relax and retire now. Cool. If that's for you, that's for you. But most of the time, people who come into my spaces, they want to grow and elevate and literally do this for the rest of their life, right? Where they're just making an impact. That's what they're here to do. So in order to do that, we have to grow, we have to scale, and then we have to keep coming back to marketing and selling. That is literally business in the most simplistic form with all the skills that you need. And then inside of Intuitive Creator, I just teach you how to do it with your intuition, with your unique gifts, and with learning how to use it with your logic. So I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new here. Drop me a comment if you liked it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Mwah.